A salary is the drug they give you when they want you to forget about your dreams. Because it's very easy to stay in that world where somebody is mitigating your risk. You just have to perform certain tasks, do them well for a third of your day, and they will feed you a salary.
Welcome to another edition of Being Africa Allah right here on Discover Music Channel by Playmaster.today. Boy, I tell you, in a few short weeks' time, so things have really changed. Vice President Kamala Harris has taken the place of Joe Biden in the presidential election race. And of course, by my side, I have my better half.
Yes.
DJ Trill.
Yes. What's up?
I almost went straight into the tea.
I know. You just forgot about all little old me. That's all right.
I did forget about you.
That's all right.
Man, these last couple of days have been overwhelming and just times are strange. Currently, everybody is talking about Vice President Kamala Harris being the Democratic replacement for Joe Biden after his flop during the first presidential debate. And Biden exited the race with his endorsement of VP Harris. From that, 7 days up till recording time, there has been an onslaught of slander campaigning from the Republican Party side. And when we talk about, and then not only that, in a matter of 72 hours, Kamala and her people were able to raise millions of dollars, billions of dollars to support her campaign from people that look like you and I. Yet people that look like you and I are not able to support and raise funds to support our communities and underserved services for people in those communities. Right. But we can put money behind, we can create super groups and super PACs, and put money behind a presidential nominee just because her skin tone is the same as ours. Now, on various social platforms, there has been conversation in regards to why, people saying, I'm black, I'm a real black American, and I'm not voting for Kamala, or I'm a black man and I'm not voting for Kamala. My question to you is, let's take the person out of it. If not Harris, then what is the alternative? If there are only two people running, if not her, then who?
I don't know what to tell you because I'm not voting.
No, it's only two people.
That second person I'm not voting for.
So then
you won't be voting, and if we don't vote, guess who's getting into office?
So my question again goes, what is the logic? Like, people are raising money for the Democratic Party because of the name Kamala Harris. Yet they're raising money without requesting specific things. Like, I just can't give you $20,000 and not tell you what I expect in return from that. And that's what's happening. So my question again, I need you to put yourself in the place of these men and women, these real black American men and women that say that they're not voting for Kamala. My question is, if not her, then who?
I don't know what to tell you on that one because...
Give me the logical breakdown.
That logical breakdown don't make sense to me. It don't. Because if you don't vote for Kamala, you're voting for the orange man with little hands.
No, let's not.
I'm not saying no names.
No, let's not
saying
put
no
no
names.
emotions behind this.
No, I'm not putting no emotions.
Because you're stereotyping this person. Let's just say the front runner for the Republican Party.
Okay, that person I cannot endorse.
And why?
Because of his ideals. His ideals
What are
real.
his ideals?
His ideals are real barbaric, if you want to put it that way.
Okay.
Because think about it.
I need examples. Examples.
Trump calls the end of birthright citizenships. Birthright citizenships? That means your son's out of here. That means your wife out of here.
Okay, so check this out. We have a law actually in place in the Bahamas, which I think is archaic. But the law in the Bahamas is any child born in the Bahamas not to a Bahamian father is considered an immigrant and cannot receive legal documents. So there are hundreds of born Bahamians, like they were born in the Bahamas, but do not have papers and are not considered citizens and do not have the same rights as Bahamians because their father is not born in the Bahamas. So they assume the citizenship of their father's country.
Oh, wow.
And so that has caused a lot of problems because after 18, it's hard for them to get work. It's a lot of stress. They go through all of these. They have to go through hearings. In some cases, they have been deported to their countries of origin, even though they grew up and raised in the Bahamas and have identified as a Bahamian all of their life.
Wow. I didn't know nothing about that rule.
Okay, so let's bring that back to America. So now you're saying, how do you define who has birthright citizenship when indeed your father was born in the Bronx and your mother was born in the United Kingdom? How then do you justify bringing an end to birthright citizenship if you in fact are a product of an immigrant?
Wow. That is...
And this is why I said I need demonstrations. I need reasons. I need validity behind these conversations because we need to really examine what they're asking people to do when they in themselves have benefited from all of these programs that they want to now get rid of. Because as far as I know, all of his children have mothers that were not from America.
Right.
His running mate has a wife. Well, I can't say she's not American, but I guarantee that, well, I mean, we know she ain't originally from here.
True.
You could look at her face and she have an origin someplace else. Now, even if she was born in America, you are now putting half of your staff out if you don't have any real way to qualify who has birthright citizenship. And that has yet to be determined. That has yet to be determined on how that is. And again, these titles or these headlines are made to be sensationalized so that it can get people to click through and read. So have you read the entirety of the story? Can you tell me a little more about?
I haven't read all of it. I just read.
Just give me the gist of it.
Basically, and all I did, he just want to get rid of like birthright people, like let's say Kamala Harris, with her running, he want to eliminate that process.
Okay, so
saying that she's her birthright is born in the United States, but her parents are immigrants.
Right.
He want to get rid of that.
Right.
But I
Right.
still say if he get rid of that, that means he got to go, his wife got to go, and his son got to go. The baby one, the last one.
Well, again, what are the stipulations of birthright? What are the stipulations of birthright citizenship?
Right.
Do both parents have to be immigrants, or can one parent be American, or do you take on the birthright of your mother or father? Like, what is the stipulations? And if you haven't figured that out, then we're just saying this, we're just reiterating this, and we're putting these ideas out without really hashing them out and figuring out what the stipulations are behind them.
Right. That is a good question, and somebody definitely need to answer that in their next debate.
Well, I think it needs to be asked
Yeah,
first.
that's what I'm saying.
Somebody needs to present that.
Somebody need to present it in the debate.
Right. And of course, that would create a mountain of opposition for the simple fact that, again, America in itself is a melting pot of various nationalities and races, right?
Right. So that means he's going to get rid of all the nationalities and the races from the U.S. and make them go back to the birthright country.
I mean, New York City is built on the backs of Italians, Polish people,
and blacks.
Yugoslavians, and
blacks.
Caribbeans. So how can where you sending them back to? Because, I mean, how many generations are you going back?
That's going to be the question.
First of all, if that's the case, then everybody in America need to get the hell on out, because ain't none of y'all was American. Y'all came here. Y'all visiting.
Yes.
You're visiting. You're a visitor in another man's land, and you decided to commandeer the land.
Yeah, you might as well say commandeer.
They did commandeer the land. They commandeered the land. The people fed them, showed them how to eat, showed them how to bathe, how to wash themselves, take care of themselves, protect themselves from diseases. And what did they do? They gave them a blanket with smallpox on it and killed off a whole civilization of people.
Yeah.
Similar to what they're doing now with the food and all of the other stuff that they're doing.
COVID.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't even want to get into that. We could talk about that for days, right?
Right.
But let's say this. Birthright citizenship has long been understood to be required under the Constitution's 14th Amendment, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction therefore of are citizens of the United States. The language was to include in the constitutional amendment and enact after the Civil War to ensure that black former slaves and their children were recognized as citizens. The phrase has been generally understood by legal scholars and scholars of all ideology stripes to be self-explanatory, but has not stopped some anti-immigration advocates from pressing an alternative interpretation. It is directly in the teeth of the 14th Amendment, he added. It would essentially be an attempt to tear down one of the core constitutional protections that is a key part of our country. The very same America that you want to destroy was built on the backs of immigrants.
But you got to also, they already took out some of the Constitution already with him. He is supposed to be in jail right now.
Well, listen, the Supreme Court has ultimately upheld a watered-down version of Trump's travel ban, deferring to the president's authority on national security issues, but even supporters of birthright citizenship accept Trump's plan and would face uphill battle.
He's going to have a super uphill battle. with
but
snow
he
on it
also
and black
owns.
ice.
He owns. He owns.
He put all the people in
the Supreme Court. He has the majority rule in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's true.
And
if he didn't put them people in the Supreme Court, he'll be under jail right now.
we talk about what's going on, right? But the fact that we all know and understand that Trump has the Supreme Court in his pocket, the Democrats and their lead running person for the 2024 presidential election has signaled their support for a sweeping change to the Supreme Court, including an 18-year term limitation for justices. Right now, they have once they're appointed for a lifetime.
They need to switch that.
Let's keep in mind that Donald Trump, or the Republican frontman right now, is 78 years old. I mean, I don't know how long his lifeline is, unless he's drinking the blood of babies.
I think he is. I think he's on the other side of the fence with that blood.
In any event, the whole presentation was proposed by President Biden in an opinion piece in the Washington Post. Former President Donald Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, Republican Ohio representative, is continuing to face a fallout from calling women without biological children childless cat ladies with no direct stake in the country. The candidates are heading to the battleground states in the coming days, right?
Right.
So in the next few weeks, they're going to be in all of your cities, all of your major cities and states, and all of the states where they have swing votes to get people to mount up and support.
And I do believe Florida is a swing state vote.
Okay. So in stating this, right, we said a mouthful, and I really didn't want to talk about Vance's statement because I don't want to bring light to the sensationalized things, because that's what they want you to focus on, all of these small things, without addressing the issues like how we broke down how do you define birthright citizenship, right?
Right.
Like right now we're talking about the presidential optics. I don't care about the Republican Party's front runner or the Democratic Party's front runner. What I care about is the platform and what these people represent and what they are going to support. Now, one of the things that I agree with, because we've seen the way the Republicans have played in our face with our laws and having control of the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court is supposed to be the highest court in the land and be non-biased. But how can you be non-biased when you're run and managed by a particular party?
That too.
Right? So I agree with the proposal put forth by President Biden in the opinion piece that they should have a limit for the justices. And yes, 18 years is fine. 2 decades is more than enough for you to be able to rule and create. Like, I think that that's enough time. But you also have to come in younger.
Yes.
Like, we can't.
You can't be.
I can't put you in. I can't put you in at 60. I can't put you in at 60 and expect you to be working within your right mind. And not to say that you aren't, but I think that things change.
Very much so.
You're not as spry as possible. You're not able to go out.
Change.
Right. And yeah, because you have so many different life experiences. While I don't think life experiences are a bad thing, maybe it should be a balance. Like, okay, we have two old people. I don't want to say
what?
that. We have two geriatric. We have two people.
See, you still call it a bowl.
We have two mature people. Let's bring in two younger people. And younger doesn't necessarily mean that they're 20, but they could be 40. They could be 50. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's look at the ages of these people and giving them that 18 years, allowing them to have 2 10-year terms or 2 decades to be able to make monumental change is fine, because a lot of the times there are cases that go for a period of years before it's even brought to judgment. So we have to take that under consideration. But I definitely think that there should be a term limitation. But the other part is, even with a term limitation, 2 decades with a Supreme Court that is solely put in position by the Republican Party is detrimental to the democracy of what we used to call the American dream. And again, the American dream is just that, a dream, a fabrication.
Me personally, they need to switch it over to 4 years, just like the president.
Do you think that 4 years gives them enough time to make effective change in their rulings?
No, it don't, but they'll make them be on their toes.
I think that we need to come up with something a little more realistic. Maybe a decade. Not
a decade, because you get in that same building for a whole decade.
You think you're untouchable?
Yeah. That's why I said 4 years.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
that lady.
Let's talk about the young lady, the
lady,
justice. Where was she from?
New York.
Was she from New York?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Supreme Court justice that
Gail, I think her last name was Gail. New York judge. It was New York Judge Commission. Judge Aaron Gale.
All right, so tell us the story in a brief synopsis of what happened with Judge Aaron Gale.
All right, just a brief synopsis is that there was a party that her child went to, and certain people didn't get invited, and some of the blacks got invited by text messages. And they were sent the address. They got over there. A big fight broke out. And hold on. And now, keep in mind, these are the details based on the information that was provided. Again, the way the story is crafted is based on, I must really say that journalism isn't journalism anymore. But a fight ensued. No one says how the fight ensued, if the fight was started by the attendees or if it was started by the people that were sent an invitation via text message. In any event, let's continue. And then fight broke out. She told some of the patrons of the party they have to leave. Some of the patrons, which were black, lost their keys and they couldn't find their keys in the melee that happened. So, the words that came out of her mouth, she threatened to shoot the black teens at a graduation party. That's what it was, a graduation party. So, how you a judge throwing your weight around and say you gonna shoot the kids?
Okay. All right, let me paint the picture a little clearer. Let me paint this picture in HD, okay? That was a great analog. That was a great analog VHS.
Okay, I'll take the VHS. So you come up with the 4D then. You come with the 4HD.
And he did state that a argument ensued and it turned into a brawl, a little scuffle. There was a fist fight, which
which the justice's son was involved in. And as they were involved in the fight, the children or the people that were being asked to leave lost their keys in the scuffle. The justice then said that if they find the keys, they would not return the keys, but throw them down the toilet. And they also made remarks as to their IQ, as to their direction in life. And she continuously, throughout the broadcast of, or the capture of the body cam footage, she continuously stated that she was a judge and that the people on the property had the right to shoot these ends. And she also stated to the cops that they had the right to shoot these ends. And she stated that I'm always down for you guys. I'll make sure that I'll make sure that you don't get in trouble for this. You know, I'm by your side. And this is me paraphrasing it, but you can go back and look at the video footage. I mean, Google it. You know what I mean? But this is disturbing. This is disturbing because she later backtracked and said that, you know, she was suffering from some trauma from the past and she reacted and regardless of what. You sit on the highest court of the land. You don't have the luxury of reacting emotionally. You have to, at every point in your day, you have to hold yourself to the same standards as the highest court in the law, in the world, right? You have to you have to hold yourself to those standards. And if you are acting irrational and coming across threatening and telling people, throwing your weight around, telling people that you will protect them if they go ahead and execute a child, nonetheless, it doesn't even matter. These are children that are under 21. This was a high school graduation party. These are kids that are under 21. The fact that, and they all went to the same school. So the fact that you felt it was okay for you to, one, ostracize those kids because they didn't meet the right, they didn't have the right skin tones, and then make assumptions about those kids because of their skin tone. You and yourself do not belong in that position as a public. Keep in mind that you serve the public.
Basically,
like you are Supreme Court justice, but you represent the United States, the democracy of the United States. And if this is how you feel, then we already know how the rulings go. We already know that when certain things come across, your vote is whichever way doesn't support those people. And that is disturbing.
And that is real crazy on her language. But I'm still laughing at how she twisted it.
How did she twist it? How did she twist it?
Oh, I have to. What was that? Traumatic.
She had trauma. She had a traumatic experience.
I had a traumatic experience, and this shouldn't. What she's. Oh man, I had it in my thoughts. I can't even figure it out now. But
right.
But that's just plain crazy.
So
that's just another Karen for you.
Again, we are not using any stereotypical words to address these things. We're just looking at this from the political optics of what's going on. And I want us to continue. I don't want us to speak from emotions, a little slick talk here and there, but I don't want us to speak from emotions. I want us to really dissect what's going on, because it's imperative that we get other people thinking deeper than the headlines.
Well, they better get ready for a RW. I'm gonna just say it like that.
What is RW? Race war?
Yeah.
They're calling it a civil war. They're not calling it a RW because the reality is a lot of these programs, and we talked about it in our last broadcast. A lot of these programs not only benefit people of color, and when I say people of color, I'm not just talking about blacks, I'm talking about blacks, Latinos, Asians, and women. The civil rights movement is also an extension of the women's movement, the women's right movement. So if you start tearing down these programs, you're not only making it hard for various ethnic groups, but you're also making it hard for women. And women, and might I add, Caucasian women, black women, Asian women, women in general are are the largest parts of the workforce across the United States. So creating these obstacles or taking these programs away, you're now stripping women of the opportunity to be treated fairly. And we go back to a time where, I can't even say we go back to it because it still happens. Like there's still sexual assault there's still sexual assault and sexual harassment going on in the workplace. There's still power struggles going on within the workplace where women work harder. They work twice as hard, get very much less than the men, their male counterparts, and still have to deal with criticism and second guessing when it comes to their ideas and their concepts. However, a man can present the same concept, read the same presentation, and get raving reports. But when a woman does that same presentation that she wrote, it comes under severe scrutiny. Let's talk about this. In the last election, the election that Donald Trump ran against Hillary Clinton, in that election, I hadn't seen any slander the way I've seen the slander in this election campaign with Donald Trump and VP Harris. And I say this to say I think that everything that's being said is disturbing on so many levels.
It's coming out.
The front runner for the Republican Party made a statement, and he said, this is laughable. This man is laughable. He was at a crypto conference. I want to say that it was in Nashville because Billy Ray Cyrus was there, and he was like, he made a statement saying, how is it that you're here and your daughter is a liberal? What's wrong with her? You can't control your daughter, whatever. Right? He went on this rant, and then he said, I'm a high IQ. He said, I'm a high IQ person, and the other person, the other one, not him but her, she's a low IQ person. And you guys better vote for me because it's going to be over for you if they get in power. It's going to be over for you. So yeah, you better vote for me. He's a high IQ person.
He's a high IQ person.
And he is continuous. And I've noticed that. Let me tell you, why I said that, why I brought that up? Because in that same conversation about the Supreme Court justice, the young lady on the body cam, the justice said they probably have low IQs. So anybody that
that don't have the same skin tone as us.
They have a low IQ, and they're deemed to have they're thought of to be lower. They're thought of to be less than and lower than, right? They constantly, the conversation constantly goes back to that. There's another statement that was brought, and again, I did not see this happening during the Hillary Clinton administration, during the Hillary Clinton run. I didn't see this type of blatant disrespect for a person. You know, I did not see it. I didn't see it, and I know that I said, you know, we're gonna keep our emotions at bay. But it's frustrating to know that because of the color of the person's skin, even though the person does not identify as black, allegedly, I don't know. Because I know when you look up in the mirror. Hold on, because again, I think that is propaganda. I don't think that ever came out of her mouth. But if it did, but listen, if it did, she can honestly claim that because she is of Caribbean descent and of Indian Caribbean descent.
Right, but
so hold on. So in other words, in Jamaica, in Trinidad, in the Bahamas, she's considered a coolie. You know what a coolie is, right?
break it down for me, please.
Oh God!
Break it down for me.
See, this is the reason why they shouldn't give y'all
Break it down.
Citizenship. They shouldn't give y'all birthright citizenship, because how you don't know? A coolie in the Caribbean is a person that is born to an Indian and black person. So they are the product of an Indian and black person relationship, and they call the children coolie, which is also a derogatory term. Also, same thing as mixed and half breed, but I mean, you know, we come from a politically incorrect time. But that's basically, you know, she cannot really claim one thing because her mother is Indian and her father is Jamaican or black, right?
Okay, but how can she?
Hold on. Again, I'm just saying, I'm not saying right or wrong. I just want to say that regardless of what, she's AKA, right?
Yeah, she AKA. That's what I was getting to. So how she can't define herself as black if she's AKA? If
she's an AKA, when she opened up, it doesn't matter. Like I told my daughter before, my daughter grew up around white people, and she thinks that because she grew up in that community, that they would accept her. She was all fine and dandy till she started looking black. And as soon as she started looking black, that same community turned on her. And so I say this to say, it doesn't matter who you're married to. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter how you identify yourself. You could identify yourself as a rock. At the end of the day, when you walk outside and they see it, the rest of the world only see color.
That's all they're going to see.
So tell me all of the merits that make her black.
Her hair. Mm-hmm. Her skin tone. Uh-huh. The way she talk. Mm-hmm. The way she walk.
So her mannerisms.
Her mannerisms.
Right.
To me, she don't have that, she don't give off that white vibe to me.
Well, she shouldn't. She should not be giving off any white vibe because she's not white. So she's a black woman in America. She's a black woman in America,
in a very high position,
born of immigrant parents, and she has gotten an education and been afforded all of the benefits that America has to offer, and now she is serving the country that raised her. And I don't care what she identifies as. When she looks in the mirror, when she looks into the camera, when the world sees her reflection, because most of the time we've never seen ourselves. We only see a reflection of us, right? But when the world sees her reflection, we see black.
That's what they see.
You know what I mean? We see black. Like all my life, I thought I was black. Everybody else tell me I red and mango skin. I don't see that. I see a black woman. Because at the end of the day, you know what happened when I go outside? I get called and all these other words from people that don't look like me. So yeah, we could argue the race point, but my thing is that we have this race for presidency should not be based on the color of somebody's skin, but the politics. And while both parties have politics that may hurt us, we know for sure that there's one party
That's going to
that
hurt
that
us badly.
their politics doesn't matter. It's how they incite the mayhem of the people, how they incite and perpetuate the mayhem of the people. There was a statement that if the front runner for the Democratic Party wins, the front runner for the Republican Party would then present it to the Supreme Court and get the ruling overturned. What are your thoughts? And how would that play out?
That's my thoughts on if, let's say, if Kamala wins, Trump is going to try to finagle it so he can give it to the Supreme Court so they can overturn it so he can get in office. So basically, that's going to be tit for tat, if you want to say it.
Yeah, but okay, so this is what I tell my clients, right? I always tell my clients we can promote an event, but we can control the narrative, we can promote an event, we can put out all of the right visuals, but we cannot control the way people respond to those things. That's the one thing as a journalist, as a marketing person, as a person that deals with communication, you realize that your initial intention may not yield the results that you expect, because we cannot account for human emotion. And with that said, even though we are looking at this from a purely political standpoint, when emotion and humans come into play, we can't control those things.
Nope, we can't.
So an overturned ruling will then put a different stench on the democracy of America. It will then give people a right to rally behind whatever their particular beliefs are and retaliate or riot against the people that are not in agreement with them. Because we went through this whole fear thing, and now you're telling me that what I do, whatever my voice is voiceless. So now I have to show you that, listen, I ain't into that. And that's where problems going to happen. And this is the part where I am afraid. Yes, I don't even know any other way to say it. This is the part where I am afraid of the 2024 presidential election results, because of what may or may not happen. Additionally, in a statement at an event, and I can't remember the name of the event, but the front runner of the Republican Party for the presidential election said, Christians,
I need you to vote. Even if you vote this one time, if you vote this one time, you'll be straight. It'll be fixed. You don't have to vote anymore. It's going to be fixed. You'll never have to vote again. Innuendo suggests, innuendo, not statement, because he didn't clarify that, right? But innuendo suggests, and all of the contact clues around that statement, and you have to watch that. You have to watch that audio. You have to watch that audio clip, right? Innuendo suggests that he is pushing for a dictatorship. Innuendo suggests that. And when you look at his party platform, as well as the Project 2025 platform, which is one of the major backers behind his campaign, it states for a call for a Unitarian, and we talked about this the last time, right?
Right.
It calls for a Unitarian. It calls for a Unitarian authoritative leadership.
So he's trying to get rid of the.
So he wanted to get in there.
He want to get in there and get rid of everybody and just him be in there by himself.
Exactly. Now, when we look at, and again, people say, and somebody made a statement. They said, I heard a rumor, and I'm like, why are you having conversations about things that you didn't research? Like, just Google the shit and you can see all of the, and again, I don't trust Google anyway, because it's written by people, and journalism is not journalism anymore. So you have to read so many pieces and articles in order to get the actual story. But the reality is, as my father used to say, it don't matter how you dress up the truth is the truth, right? The reality is, he said it. We have documents proving that this is his train of thought. So even if he came backpedal and said, I meant to say that, once you vote, I'll fix everything, so everything will be good and you won't have to worry about it because the laws will be in order. No, you said that you get in. You only have to vote this for. You only have to vote this 4 years. Now, next 4 years you won't have to vote. It'll be fixed. That's what you said. And like I said, innuendo suggests that you meant something else. Additionally, your party platform states that you want to replace government workers and put people that are loyal to your party and your politics and your policies in those positions. So what does that say? When I hear you make a statement as a logical thinking person, when I hear you make a statement saying that you only have to vote once, it'll be fixed. What does that say to you, Trill?
That's telling me that you're trying to be a dictator. You trying to take over the whole land. Whatever says goes. And it's going to be that Hunger Games vibe to me.
So my question again to all of the Harris naysayers, all of the people that are against or do not want to vote for the Democratic frontrunner in the presidential election, my question to you is, if not her, then who? What is your alternative? How are you going to vote? November 5th, 2024, on a Tuesday, you have to go and put your ballot in. How are you going to vote? Are you going to vote on emotions, or are you going to vote based on policies that are going to affect you? Let's be real. We all knew early on in the Biden administration that there were signs of illness with President Biden. So who do you think has been running the United States?
The VP?
Again, if not the Democratic front runner,
what is your alternative? And how can you justify that? Because this is another trick of the devil, right?
Right.
Another trick of the devil is, you want that? I mean, you're better off with me. Look what that did. Da, 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 da. But they hide their hand and don't tell, and they make you forget about all of the things that they have outrightly said. All of the things that threaten your liberty, and all of the things that threaten your liberty in your life. They've already told you everything, but yet they use your emotions to put you against what's good for you. And I'm not telling anybody to vote Democrat, but I'm saying, look at the politics. I know for sure that either party ain't shit, but I rather the organic shit. I mean, boy, I tell you, it's a lot of shit.
Yep. You might as well put a toilet right next to it.
But at the end of the day, we got to put somebody in office. And my question is, if not, then what is the alternative? How are you going to vote? And is that going to be the best thing for your community? That's it. That's what I leave you with, because my thing is, like I said, I keep hearing people saying that they're not because of race, they're not because they're a woman, but at the same time,
It's still coming up.
you have to choose. This is not one of those situations where you can be indifferent and pick 5. You know how they have a 1 to 10 scale, and you either pick 10 or you pick 1.
We only got 1 and 2.
Yeah, you got this right here. So either or.
We only got 1 and 2. So
if not, then what's the alternative? And I think that needs to be the optics of the presidential election going in. When you're looking at these things, you need to pay attention to the policy, not the rhetoric, not the sound bites, not all of the promises, but look at the heart, look at the policies of the policies and their claims for the first 100 days. Look at those things. Look at their behavior and the way they interact with people and themselves. And ask yourself, is that the person you want to represent you on a global level? Is that the person that you want speaking to heads of governments around the world? Is that the person that you want to represent this era of your life? How is your life going to differ once this election has completed? All of these freedoms that you so readily enjoy,
you might not have it no more.
and I want to go into, we got a couple seconds. We got a couple seconds before we have to go, right? But people keep saying that the Roe versus Wade ruling was overturned under the Democrats. No, it wasn't. It was not, because the Supreme Court is ruled by the Republican Party. It's the same thing that I said when Obama was in office. It didn't matter what policies he put forth, everything was vetoed by the House. If we do not take control of the House, we do not have control of the government. So you can run that rhetoric if you would like, but the reality is the people that believe that you should stay in a relationship, even if it's violent, for the sake of a child, the same people that say even if your uncle, your daddy, or a stranger rapes you and you get pregnant, you should bring that child to term and raise it lovingly. These are people, these are dangerous people. And they are putting the lives of women, children, and entire communities in jeopardy. And you know what? I feel like I'm fear mongering, so I don't want to do that. Is there? And let's end this with a positive note. Let's end this for a positive note. Is there a positive note that we can end this on?
In my thought process, no.
Okay, so let's take it to the Paris. Let's end it with the Paris Olympics. Hey,
Let's know. Oh Lord have mercy.
South Sudan was good. I'm so happy for y'all. Y'all are
Lord.
y'all have been struggling with democracy and have just entered your first decade of independence, and you guys are doing amazing. Listen. Y'all are doing amazing. Y'all are doing amazing in the Olympics. Keep it up. I think the U.S. went in thinking, "Hey, we the U.S. We the best in the world." You're the best in the U.S. You're the best in the U.S. You're not a representation of the world. Because if you go outside, you're gonna find out. Them boys, what they call them? They got ankles or something. How did basketball turn?
What? They got the ankle snatched?
I don't know what they be saying, but yeah, them boys could play. Globally, them boys could play.
Yes, they can. And USA is looking kind
Listen.
of crazy right now.
They be playing basketball with giraffes in their way. What you
I
think?
I can't with you. I can't. How you gonna say they been playing basketball with giraffes and everything?
I said in the way. You
You-
think
you-
the man can make 3 points like that? He's have to throw it over the giraffe head like, oh. I just joking. I don't want y'all to cancel me like Tiffany Haddish. I don't know why people go to Africa and get surprised that they have a grocery store. Like that's normal everywhere around the world. What wrong with you? What wrong? Man, don't do that. And guess what? I want y'all to know that it's only her. It's only her. Don't hold all of us for that one. That one she a little strange. As Kamala Harris say, she weird. She just weird.
Oh Lord.
How you going to hey, I am in Zimbabwe. What the fuck? What? This ain't coming to America. Yo. My husband out here choking. I don't know why he in stitches. I said I was gonna leave it on a light note. I wanted to leave it on a light note, a positive note. There is a storm developing in the Caribbean near the Antilles. You guys in the Bahamas and Florida, you guys start preparing for weather. Pay attention to the Weather Channel to track the storm. It is supposed to be a tropical disturbance, but the sand in the Sahara is dissipating and storms are promising to get stronger. Yes, storms are promising to get stronger. So you guys go ahead and make sure that you track these storms. Make sure that you have plenty of liquids and toilet paper and food.
Plenty of snacks.
Man, we gotta go to the store.
Yeah, we do.
Boy. Yeah.
We gotta start stocking up on our waters
Yeah.
and getting our snacks together.
In the meantime, in between time, it's the one and only Africa.
Your boy DJ Trill.